know it's gonna be Error 404.
Yeah, well, it's as close as we're going to get to Error 404 anymore. So
Yeah.
we got to come up with something new. Hello, everybody that is here joining us on YouTube and Twitch. All 10 of you so far. I am Toby. This is my wife, Angel, as you may know. And over here is D-Flix, a.k.a. John Johnson, a.k.a. the creator of Darkstone Entertainment. And we are here tonight to not just raise money for the Breathless movie that is we're trying to raise funds for so we can start filming, but also entertain you guys with talking about movies that he knows a lot about and I know nothing about.
Not true at all.
The most of this is probably not true. So it's good to see all of you. Yes, and Budsky says, congrats, Daddy D-Flix.
Thank you, Budsky.
Look at it. Look at him right there. Budsky 417. Been a long time. Need to go and see that guy eventually.
I feel like if I go to hug him, it'll be in slow motion. Like things will just like slow down.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. You and I both followed Budsky for a long time on TikTok, right? Like,
right.
I know you've followed him for a long time. What is the most memorable? If you think about Budsky, what is the rent-free video that lives in your head with him?
It's actually a bunch. He was a duet king. Like he just duetted everybody. Like I keep seeing him duetting people. I was like, well, wait, did he do the dog from Family Guy? Like the yelling of the hey, I'm a.
Look at all these people. We Dot, Amanda. We got Fitz. We got Glowing Artist. We got Bomber.
Actually, I think the one for me would be when I did a collab with, he did the Scrooge song.
Amber says, "What are we watching?" Because Movie and Booze is the title of this live.
Booze movie.
And the reason why is because John's going to talk about movies and I'm going to drink booze because that's how I tolerate John talking about movies.
Okay.
Expect multiple name drops during this.
For a second.
Yeah,
because these two have a lot of passion for what we're doing, and I want to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about the formula that we're working in.
Real quick before we move on to that, the rent-free Budsky movie or video that lives in my head is the same rent-free whoever video.
Yep.
In my head, and that is the MMA twist his dick video.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. I've never seen a more perfect TikTok video in my entire life. Not one time. Not one time.
I know there's ones I didn't do because Budsky did it, and I was like, I can't top that.
I can't top that.
I've seen a bunch that he's done and that whoever has done that I look at and I'm like, I can't top those.
Whoever the most genius thing I remember her doing was the dating game. Remember she did the match with the people she did like a host and then people would
yes,
that was so smart. Yes, twist his dick.
Hi Tam, love your face.
Hi Tam.
All right, so John, did you have any type of mental agenda as far as what we're going to go over tonight, or are we just kind of free running it?
I'm going to kind of interview you guys a little bit at the beginning, and then we'll discuss things.
Okay.
I am absolutely ready.
Oh God. What is that? Is that a dragon?
It's gargoyle, actually.
Gargoyle.
So you guys approached me with Breathless, and it was because of a movie that you guys liked called Die Watching. What is it about this genre of film that why is this the one that you want to make?
Are we going more with me on this one, or are we going more?
Both of you.
You do you, and then I'll do me.
Okay, so I was really interested in the movie Die Watching because I'd never seen anything like it. It was essentially I've got a really huge interest in serial killers in general. I've gone through the entire serial killer encyclopedia. I've studied them essentially my entire life. But this is one that I really enjoyed the storyline to it, but at the same time, I always felt that it could be done better.
Mhm.
And you remember when I first approached you, I said I would like to redo this movie.
Right.
And the discussion ended up being it's really difficult to get the rights to redo a movie. How about we do something
A twist.
similar with a twist that is kind of like a harking to or a throwing back at that style to where we can redo it. And I was all about it. So really it's for me, it's really about Die Watching had a lot of like on-screen deaths that you just don't see, that they were performed really well, that they seemed very realistic, and they really kind of called out to a very specific type of audience. And it's one of those movies that to this day, I think it came out in the early 90s or mid 90s, and it's one of these movies that like straight to VHS, but has this gigantic underground following because of the type of content that's in it. And I was like, I want something like that. I want something that, like the Kevin Smith Mallrats, right?
Mhm.
Like he thought it was going to destroy his career. He finished making Mallrats and he was like, this is it. This is the end. It did horribly in the theaters. He thought that was going to be the end of him. He had almost contemplated, he had been contemplating ending directing movies altogether, and it just blew up.
It turned into a cult
a cult classic. And I said, I think we could remake this same movie that's already a cult classic and make it better and make it a stronger cult classic. And that's my goal.
The history of the film is that it was made by Roger Corman. And then he sold me with Tim Thomerson being the detective in it. And
Yes.
Tim Thomerson, I'm a huge fan of forever. Who's still alive. We lost Artie, but somehow Tim was like 112. Like that man's been up there a long time.
He's Highlander for sure because he's still making movies, right?
I don't know, but I know he started his stand-up career with David Letterman. Like they're buds.
Holy hell!
Letterman dead?
No, Letterman's not dead, baby.
Soon.
What?
Nothing.
It's just plans.
She has
It's been plans.
all right. So listen, I promise you all, if Letterman goes down, she was with me.
Yeah, it was definitely Leno.
So John, do me a favor, just move your phone just a little bit because it like blocks like 3/4 of your face.
Now I can see you.
There you go. All right. So do you have any input as to why this movie or
Angel, why do you like it? Why do you like telling? Why do you want to tell this kind of story?
Because I think for me,
Mhm.
the whole breathless part of it, people misunderstand. Hear me out. So, where are we broadcasting at? Can I talk?
Yes,
about
absolutely.
this?
YouTube and Twitch. You're fine.
Okay.
And TikTok.
So, a lot of the death scenes that you see in movies, you can tell are fake as fuck.
Oh yeah. It's usually horrible acting or like the deaths end way too fast.
Way too
right?
fast.
We have a standard
And-
agreement with that if a death itself seems to be too unrealistic,
Yep.
it's just like it like pulls you out of the movie.
Yeah.
Mm.
So to reach to the genre, you have to keep it real.
Yeah. And in fact, like you guys have done this kind of stuff. And when I first heard you acting, my instincts kicked in. I was like, I gotta go save her. It was just like this first, it's like the first time I heard you, I was like, no. But then it was like, I had to sit and be like, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Because it's a controlled environment.
And that's
also you guys know what you're doing and you can act.
And but at the same time, that's the response that we want to try to give an audience. Is we want an audience to be kind of sucked into the moment and have that same feeling. Like I want an audience to have panic over like the victim and kind of have like this direct contact where they're like, stop, 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 because there's just something visceral about it that causes them to feel involved. There's so many like deaths on scene that just they happen and they're there, then they're gone, and you're disconnected from it. We want the connection to be real. We want people to feel what's going on screen and to have a panic. And to answer the question here from Jennifer Suits, which is whoever, the whole reason why we're talking about Die Watching is because I believe that's a movie that has done it correctly. Another movie is called Paint It Black. There's a couple of movies that have done it correctly, but there's so many movies that have done it incorrectly that we want to be a part of movie history where people are like, Jesus Christ, if for nothing else, the death scenes of this movie is one of those things that you need to go watch, because it's really like it really is like one of these in-depth experiences that's going to pull you in, and you're going to have an emotional involvement to it.
Yeah.
And even though I play a narcissistic bitch,
I don't know, I haven't seen
people are going to feel for my death.
Oh yeah.
And say, why is he doing this to her?
Well, and I think like John and I talked is we discussed that the goal of the movie is kind of because without giving out too much away or too much about what we've discussed, is my character really is he's kind of a pushover when it comes to his relationship. We're not talking about like what happens. For those of you that don't know what we're discussing, we're talking about a movie called Breathless. We're trying to raise funds for it.
In our bio.
Yep, you can see at the bottom here. I even spelled it wrong, so I'll go ahead and fix that real quick. But the movie is called Breathless, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to get everything worked out to where this guy, essentially the main character, is just extremely brilliant. He's not necessarily a scientist. He's just extremely brilliant. And he figures out that more or less the cure to cancer is through cloning technology, and he has perfected cloning technology. However, he's got a very narcissistic, very egotistic girlfriend / lover that nothing's good enough for her. And when he goes to announce this, it's still not good enough for her, and things start to kind of break down. On a secondary part of the story, you have Detective Kelton, which I believe, John, you said this was going to be the first movie Kelton is a detective, like a legit detective.
Yeah, he's supposed to be in Manos, but we haven't done that one yet. So
you've got Detective Kelton, which feels like there's something that's off going on within his town, city, however you want to look at it, and it's not really apparent to him what's going on until they uncover essentially a mass grave that is all filled with the same body.
Right. So Kelton lives in the same neighborhood as Herbert West, for lack of a better term at the moment, but it's definitely an archetype of Herbert West, which is the like the primal killer instinct is just right underneath, and then something just taps it open.
Right.
And he's just like, I'll do anything for science. And then,
but the weird thing about the character is he really, like I was saying, in the focus that I try to express to John, was the thing about this character is he's brilliant, but he's not like a fan of science. He's not like he's not like really big into it. He's not your like nerdy type character. It's one of these things that comes natural to him. And something that happened to him in his past, and I don't know if John's worked this part out or not yet, but something that happens to this character's past causes him to want to try to focus on this curing cancer idea. And essentially he gets involved in this project, and guys that have been working on this for decades, years, decades, whatever. Constantly, and the biggest problem with scientists is like your nerdy, like really intellectual scientists, is they overthink everything. There's constantly a hypothesis and a testing and another hypothesis and a what if and all this. And really, my character is just kind of it just clicks with him and says, no, this is wrong, do this. And everybody else is like, well, no, now what would do that and this and that and that? And he's like, just do it. And it works. And he's just upset at the fact that these people have been working this hard at it and in his mind, wasting all this time when he's able to just essentially come in a short period of time, make everything work. So he doesn't like associating with the scientists. It's just something that he's good at, and he's something that he's passionate about because of his own past. And he wants this to work, and he's just focused on it. But he doesn't really like these old fogies that he's always working around.
You're related to House, like the character House.
Very similar. I would,
yeah,
I would say very similar to House, where he's like, I already know this. Like, I know what I'm going to ask. I'm going to constantly ask you questions because I know it, and I want to know where you're trying to get to what I already know.
Mm-hmm. And then another staple to his character is that he doesn't like to be challenged by somebody he thinks is not worth challenging him.
Ever.
That's
because it's not worth in his mindset, it's not worth his time. He's above it.
To a degree, if he gets pissed off enough.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're eventually going to be able to. I mean, you can do that with anybody. With anybody that's to that point, you're eventually going to be able to push them to a trigger to where they're just going to eventually just snap about it.
I believe that there's a specific point where he snaps in general, and he kind of becomes not quite a Batman villain, but he's just like, I'm doing what I want to do for my enjoyment versus like doing the right thing.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a good question here too, John.
Hmm?
So, Crazy Man says, I'm sure all the arguments over ethical nature of cloning would drive him mad too.
Yeah, that's how it starts, because so at the beginning he wants to run an experiment and he's told not to. So he has to hold back with his partner, but then there's an accident with his wife or girlfriend or whoever. I guess it's wife.
Are we going with wife?
Wife.
We're gonna go with
an
wife?
accident where she passes, and to cover it up, he clones her to put her back. That's what starts the whole thing.
Well, and I think I'm willing to give up this part. The reason why he clones her is because he's afraid that if he's suspected that all of his work and research will have to be put on hold because now there will be an investigation. So in his mind, if I clone her, she's present and that argument is gone. There's no suspicion.
I mean, essentially, it's going to be debated. I would imagine, like, once the film is over, they'll be like, why did he do it? And then they can kind of figure out, like, there's no real specific. They don't, like, stop and look at the camera and be like, I'm doing it because of this. But he says,
it's Laja. Ja. What's up, brother? Oh, sorry. I'm white. I'm not.
This was extremely difficult for me. I've never written.
This is not your style whatsoever.
Like a movie from a villain's point of view. Ever.
And we discussed this earlier. Is he really the villain?
Oh, yes. By the end of the film, he's definitely the villain. You kill somebody like 5 times.
We're not giving that away. We're not giving that away. I mean, I guess we are, but
you said find a ton of bodies in a grave.
But I said there's a ton of bodies in a mass grave that all end up being the same person. It doesn't mean that he's the one that did it. It doesn't mean he's the one that did it. That's what I'm saying.
What?
Could have been anybody.
Really?
Could have been the sheriff. Could have been the detective.
Could have been you.
Could have been the wife.
Did the wife's dead?
Is she? You never know with this movie.
No.
It could have been Laja. It could have been the black guy. I mean, it is. If you've never seen Nilbog, it is a mainly white town.
So that Rastafarian guy.
The two guys. Two. Two does not make a main. Barely makes a minority. He's like, shit.
All right.
He goes, shit.
Oh, wait, hang on.
Yeah, I'll wait. I'll give you time.
This actually reminds me of a Skeleton Key episode we're working on. So Skeleton Key, the series, is Howard going through dimensions.
Genius.
He goes into a Hallmark universe, and he knows it by walking in on the family, and the family's too diverse. He's like, wait, something's wrong here. It should be an Indian visit. And he like figures out that they're in a Hallmark universe, which is very formulaic, like Christmas special. So he tries to change it and ends up becoming a horror film, which is also formulaic. So like kind of messing with that genre kind of thing. This is interesting because this is a genre that doesn't exist anymore, really.
No, like we said, it was created by it was created for Silence of the Lambs, correct?
Yeah. So essentially,
because they didn't want to be horror.
Right. Same thing with Jaws. Jaws was put in action adventure, which is stupid. It's a horror film, but it was put in action adventure so that it wouldn't be considered horror. And then Silence of the Lambs didn't want to be horror, so they came with thriller suspense.
She wants to ask you a question.
Yes.
So, John, what? Oh, pig. Sorry, rooted right on my leg. So,
animals. Thought.
What made you interested in writing this film?
Money. I think it was. It was this guy.
I just watched that movie.
Like, I love those films, and literally he was staring at me the whole time. I was having so much trouble like trying to find a way to connect to the main character and to tell it from his point of view. And then I was like, Herbert West. Like, he's literally the guy you follow through all the films, but he's a terrible person. He's like awful.
Well, it's the same thing. He literally didn't play any real different of a character as far as like, you know, the bad guy, like the horrible fucking guy that you follow throughout the whole film, because he's like one of your most interesting characters in almost everything he plays. He did the same thing in Frighteners.
Yeah.
In the Frighteners.
Yeah, he was definitely an anti-hero. Not an anti-hero, like an antagonist right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
Because anybody comes into Michael J. Fox and tells him to sit down, you're not an enemy to the people. It just happens. You can't walk up and slap Tom Hanks. I've tried. But no, like, so the whole thing, it stumped me for a while. And then I started kind of piecing it together. And I was thinking about the other movie, which is Legend. So Legend is my favorite film of all time, but you know nothing of the hero. Like Tom Cruise, you don't know anything about.
No, you
know just all the feelings of darkness. You know, like what he cares about, what he wants, what he desires. You know everything about. Like
here's one of my favorite things about Legend and Jack. And Zombie Bry actually brought this up in one of his movie reviews. I don't remember which movie he was talking about, but it's one of those films where there's an already established world.
Yep.
And you're given no backstory about any of it. And everything's already like you're just being thrown into the center of a world that's already in motion. There's no backstory to anybody. There's not a backstory to any character in Legend anywhere. Nowhere. Not a single one. There's no backstory to anybody. They're all of a sudden just in motion and there. And Jack is one of the least known characters. Like you said, Jack is one of the least known characters. Yeah. But he's the main. He's supposedly supposed to be the main focal point of the entire movie. But who do you remember the most out of the movie?
Well, it was Darkness. Darkness is the one they gave him so much of a character that was so unexpected. It should have been the opposite. Like Jack should have had like an aunt or something like that, or somebody he was like trying to save, or backstory. But literally, we got Darkness. The second they made him not the devil, and he was the son of the devil. Changed everything.
I love the fact that they called him Darkness,
Mhm.
and that it was obvious he's not the devil because he's asking. Well, I mean,
He talked to
let's
him.
be honest. He could have still been the devil by calling out for Father, because Father could have been God
Yeah.
in Christianity. Okay, it could have been,
Could have been.
but they did specifically mention that he was darkness. To this day, still the best demon slash devil-esque character ever portrayed on film.
Yeah, in full makeup, like
And you will not ever be able to replace that character with that actor.
Jim Curry.
Never. There will never be a better. I don't give a shit how many years pass by. I don't care who steps in the plate. And God forbid they ever remake Legend. I'm sure
They
someday
won't.
they will, because as we all discussed, you eventually have to remake. I believe you and I discussed it. You eventually have to remake just about every movie.
Yeah.
So that
it's
if
not
for
going the
no
right way.
other reason, it's current to your audience, right?
Yeah.
Like it's more,
Just language alone.
yeah.
Like,
Like there's a lot of people that they don't need to see West Side Story, which they just remade, by the way. You don't need to see West Side Story. You don't need to see Romeo and Juliet. You don't need to see The Sound of Music, because a lot of people, you don't need to see Casablanca, because a lot of people are going to be lost on it nowadays. There's a reason why they remade so many older movies, and it's to bring things up to date. It's more relatable. It's to a wider audience now, because you're really, as you continue to talk about these film classics, you're narrowing your audience the further and further back you go. If there's nothing that's up to date or language wise or things that aren't relatable, I mean, you're talking about what is it? Gen Z is most notable for being, Gen Z is the first generation, as they say, the first generation to not remember 9/11.
oh sure, yeah. I mean that's essentially like our JFK. Like that was like, where were you when JFK was shot? Where were you when 9/11 hit? Like that's like our pivotal moment that like everybody talks about. Because I wasn't alive for JFK, but I heard people talking about it, like where they were when it happened.
Ooh, I have to. You know what? I have to agree with this. Vanessa, I cannot go live on TikTok until the 26th. By the way, her and I are banned on TikTok until the 26th on both accounts.
Oops.
You can say
I'm going to go with yes
she was
on
also
this.
a kid. Like the whole idea is that she was kind of run by emotion. Like essentially, like the TV show The 100 is basically if kids ran the earth, we all die. Like just emotion goes heavy, people get killed. It's a whole thing. Romeo and Juliet, because they were so young, they're idiots. The whole story is them being stupid.
Yes.
And that, so like the idea of her is that, well, one, they gave her like a lot more character too than like, I mean, well, in the original script, she sleeps with darkness. They changed that. In the European cut.
Now you've seen both cuts, right?
Yeah.
Where the chair is essentially like a sexual instrument.
Yeah.
And that's why she refuses to sit on it.
Yeah. Well, she also kind of wants to defy him and make him angry. Like she's playing games with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she definitely gets seduced by the whole thing. And that's like, so Jack, I think the reason why they don't give you a lot of character of Jack is they want us to be able to fit in his shoes. You're like, don't give him a whole lot of, so he doesn't differ from us too much. So we can be like, I'm Jack, I'm going to go save the person. Another movie they did that was The Thing. They didn't give anybody any backstory at all because they didn't want you to be able to tell when they were an alien or not like that.
That's the one with Kurt Russell?
Yeah. Like if you watch it, there's no backstory to any character in it because they don't want you to have detail of who they are. And so this way, if they're the alien, you wouldn't be able to know.
Not very much.
So yeah, so this movie is definitely there's a scene that we're doing that I wanted to do for a very long time.
Are we going with the Rocky,
No,
Frankenfurter Rocky scene?
no, that we're building that. Oh yeah, well the set. Okay,
Talk about
so,
that for a second. Talk about the Frankfurter. Okay, for just to let everybody know, the reference that I'm giving is Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I know a lot of people that follow myself and a lot of people that follow John. You know what the Rocky Horror Picture Show is, and you're very well aware of the scene where Rocky is created. We're talking about the tank scene. And this was up to great debate between myself and John as to how this scene should work, how this should be filmed, the way that, like, what apparatuses should be used, so on and so forth. And I know this was actually a big scene for John because we did talk about it, and I know that you love that scene. You want to kind of recreate it. So let's talk about the creation of the clone or the creation of the entities or whatever within this film, or the idea behind it.
so the idea to me is that birth seems a lot more painful than death. Like birth is a struggle. It goes on for a while. There's usually a doctor who slaps your ass. It's the whole thing.
And now you know for like firsthand.
Yeah, they haven't slapped me too. But no, it's so in the original Frankenstein novel, they don't explain how the monster is created at all.
Nope.
They say that like there's some form of electricity and it happens away. But I actually took a bit that I was writing a movie called House of Horrors, which is a monster mashup of all the creatures. And I had designed the Bride of Frankenstein as someone who doesn't want to be with Frankenstein, the monster, keeps killing herself, and he brings her back. Like he won't let her die.
Right.
And so she's like, I'm going with that idea that like, she keeps getting resurrected. But in the film, there's a tank in Rocky Horror. But also, it's taken from Andy Warhol's Frankenstein, which is where it's like the exact same set. That's what they're parodying. And actually, they emulated in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein as well. That Kenneth Branagh did. So it's a tank where she will be born underwater.
Or in like a fluid-like substance, right?
Yeah. And it kind of leaves that breathless thing again. Like I just keep working that in.
Yeah.
I want to that'll be a big moment for me because that's something I've been setting the monsters forever, and I'm going to recreate that, which I think was first in Andy Warhol's Frankenstein, then parodied in Rocky Horror, and then they redid it in Kenneth Branagh's too.
Yeah.
But Asbel's going to build it.
Whoever's got a good comment here as well, like Neo emerging from the pod.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of that. Also, what was it? Fire in the Sky?
Fire in the Sky. Well, I mean, not.
I think it just came out like a skin thing.
I mean, Fire in the Sky was like a completely different thing. Or what are you talking about? Because Fire in the Sky would be like a reversal of what we're talking about. He was essentially cocooned rather than released.
But when he comes out of the cocoon, that part is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That visual.
When he breaks out and he's all of a sudden in the whole rows of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
There's a lot of ways to shoot this scene, and luckily, it happens more than once, so we can shoot a bunch of different ways and then kind of pick and choose what we like.
Right.
For each one. But yeah, so like usually, like when people think of Frankenstein's monster, they think of it's alive and the lightning bolts and this is all they did. They just basically raised him up, hit him with lightning, and then he was fine.
Yeah. Where they brought him back down and they waited like a few moments and then he like opened his eyes and did all that.
And Kenneth Branagh's, they used electric eels. You saw them inside the tank with it.
Oh wow.
No.
No, you're fine, baby. We're not gonna put electric eels in with you.
No. That was just their movie.
She immediately went to Sharks of the Corn and just
No, I won't.
we want Sharks of the Corn this.
No. But also, we're not gonna like show like how somebody's resurrected too much either. It's gonna kind of like happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the way Frankenstein's novel does. Like he just he's like, I made it. There's like some
Yeah,
flash.
and it's there.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
we'll get imagery of like the bandages and stuff like that. And like I want to make the birth process like just very painful. Like not like a swan kind of thing. Just probably like, hey, I'm fine.
You want to make it beautiful, not painful.
No, I want it to be painful.
What?
But you make beauty in that as well.
Well, yeah.
Like when she's finally up and she's out of it, that's a different thing. But like when she's waking up underwater,
Going through it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a good thing.
Okay.
You bored with me?
Yeah.
No. It has a lot to do with alcohol. It has very little to do with the conversational topic. All right, so we've talked a lot about the resurrection of the character and the cloning and the original character. Let's talk about the detective.
Yeah.
How does the detective get involved? And in your mind, where does the detective get involved, and what is his pursuit throughout this?
Well, he basically, so the first time they're introduced, he basically kind of he's the cause for a lot of the turmoil between their relationship, because he comes in arresting a guy, and it's at the very beginning of the film, and your character freezes, like doesn't react, and she's picking at him for that reason.
Okay.
And then Kelton will see a bit of one of the first deaths and he'll become obsessed with him to the point where he oversteps and is taken off the force and reprimanded.
So suspended, like you're suspended.
Yeah.
Give me your badge, give me your gun.
Give me your badge scene. Can we do that?
the typical, give me your badge, Kelton.
Yeah.
What? Are you kidding me? This is bullshit.
I'm 15.
Fine, Captain. Like,
Gun, badge.
gun.
Yeah, so he gets taken off, and then and I guess I can't talk about too much more, but one of somebody else he knows gets in the way of our villain and is taken out, and that gets him to say, fuck it all, I'm going in.
So essentially, the bad guy, which I think we've already, for the most part, established is going to be my character.
It's you.
Right, but you're also the protagonist. You're the bad guy.
Like almost
Anti-villain.
borderline anti-hero.
You might start that way.
Not gonna end that
But
way.
by the end of it, you're
You're a straight psycho.
Like villain.
You're a straight psycho.
Villain.
I'm building a lot of things after H.H. Holmes, like in his lair.
So familiarized with him.
Yeah.
Ridiculously familiarized with H.H. Holmes.
There's some twists and stuff that happen along the way. And yeah, so
Yeah.
the one thing we have in our favor is that I'm terrible with endings. We have an ending. We already have our ending.
What?
I'm so grateful.
Well, you and I discussed the ending.
Yeah, we have it.
I like the fact that we kind of got the ending more established right off the start than we did the beginning.
Yeah, I shot
because it allows it
it
allows us really to kind of build
This is what we
backwards
have to build
and kind of get and say, all right, whatever else happens in the movie, we have to get to this. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I really feel like that was a good challenge for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because I don't think you're used to working that way.
No.
He's like, no. All right, so here's the end.
Okay, how do I get there?
The only movies that ever the only movies that end like I know where the ending is going is the Skeleton Key films, just because I know they just defeat the bad guy and go home. Like that's the end. But like when it comes to like Plan 9 and like capturing the feeling that I want people to have when they leave the theater, I was sitting here. The film was we were about to submit the film. Well, no, we sold it. We were going to submit the film, and I looked at Royce and a couple of people. And I was like, "We got to film something right now." I'm like, "What?" So I got your new ending. I went out and looked at his truck and I said, "You need to make that a Master Blaster."
I thought I'd let everybody know this is John Johnson, like eternal. Like 2 years later, he'll be like, "We have to shoot the ending."
Yeah, and we already had an ending.
What? We're like, I've got a full beard, and you're like, shave it. Fuck.
Okay.
I don't know. But I think it ended okay. It had the Twilight Zone ending.
Oh, it was brilliant. No. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. The Jared jumping in the truck and being like, yeah, we need to go to Montana. Okay. Like that whole scene was perfect. Yep. It was perfect.
And then we had something that was happening on set, which was just by happenstance. Somebody would say something very positive before they died. Like Jimmy and I would just keep feeding people on. If you go back and watch Plan 9, somebody's like, I don't think they're going to shoot us. I can finally see my kid again. I think this will stop them. Like they say something very positive before they die.
And they die, and they're like, ah.
So we gave them this huge speech where he's like, life, man.
Like every character got like a huge like life will go on speech, and then
dead. Yeah, even the simplest thing. Just like, I think we'll make it. No.
I think we're gonna make it.
Yeah.
By the way, Plan 9 is available on Amazon Prime for those of you that are wondering. Please go check it out, as well as Spade versus Iconic, and soon, The Fright Before Christmas.
Sure.
He loves you.
Tricky son of a bitch comes later. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So.
I still have to film my parts.
Yeah, that was another one. I didn't have an ending for it. Right before Christmas, I shot an ending like 2 years later.
Wait a minute. We had an ending. We had an ending.
We
for that. Wasn't that Mariah? Wasn't that Mariah as the news reporter?
Yes, but I didn't go with that. I shot him getting pulled into Christmas Land and getting.
That's right, with we and Lisa and yes.
But I still don't know if it's good or not. I just thought opening up his world would be better.
No, it's good. It's good because we already planned on continuing that anyway, correct?
Yeah, it's gonna be a trilogy.
Yeah,
the third film is a courtroom drama.
That would be perfect. What?
The third film is a courtroom drama where
Why
killed is resurrected and put on the stand, and the Salvation Army is going to be holding him down.
Do I get to? Okay, all I care about.
Bailiff.
Do I get? No, I need to be the judge.
As a zombie.
I gotta be the judge again.
Now you're the zombie bailiff.
You're a zombie bailiff. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's genius.
I think the judge is going to be Father Christmas.
Oh shit!
Plead your case.
Who is Saint Nick's father?
We got to get Santa J. Claus for that.
I'll never do it.
He'll do it.
Yeah.
No, he won't.
Now, if you don't tell him what the rest of the movie is.
Yeah, just don't tell you anything. Just, come here.
Come here. We just need. Listen, you got Saint Nick is a bad guy, and we need Santa Claus to tell him that he's not.
Actually, there's the hipster Santa Claus that popped on here recently. That
there's a new Santa Claus that's on TikTok that's starting to like gain steam.
Really?
There's a bunch.
Like, I think we're getting ready to see a battle of the Santas.
What I think would be cool is if they did that and then just gave the money away to charity. Like they all battle.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
So can I express real quick? This woman is deeply hurt that Santa J. Claus, who she used to be mutual followers with on TikTok, unfollowed her back in November, like right before
Christmas.
She's still upset about it.
He followed me for one day. I'm guessing during that time he looked at my videos and in fact right the hell out.
That is an understood kind of thing.
He unfollowed me when I started doing sexy stuff.
That is correct.
Well, he's trying to be the Miracle on 34th Street guy.
You have Angel for a moment. Angel, keep it interesting. Talk about something.
Goats.
No, oh, Jesus Christ. All right, go. I gotta go. I gotta pee.
So,
Not really. We don't
what
have
you
to
know
talk
of the
about
film
this.
so far? What are you looking forward to?
So, I am looking forward to people seeing what actually goes into the breath play portion of it.
Hmm.
Because in movies that you've seen, okay, a woman getting bagged, a woman getting strangled.
Mhm.
That's fake. What you're going to see when you watch this film is going to be, and I'll say this, in a controlled environment with people who know what they're doing, and it's going to be real. Now, will acting be involved? Absolutely.
Mm.
But the majority of it is it's real life.
I will not be pressing buttons. I will tie my hands so no buttons are pressed when this happens. Yes,
John,
I know. No buttons.
it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I know. No, I know. Like the whole thing is like it's well, they essentially did it with a few films in like the Grindhouse days. Like they would do something like this, which I don't think they do quite anymore. But oh, here's a question. So this genre of film, the suspense thriller, what's one of your favorites that fell in that genre? Like some of the other ones are like The Hand That Rocked the Cradle.
Does the one with Bruce Willis and he's on a boat?
Striking Distance.
No. Huh?
Striking Distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Is that the one where they sang the wolf song in? Little Red Riding Hood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That one.
That was really good.
That one was really good. Hey,
He did another one too with Scott Bakula.
Charles in charge?
What?
Oh no, I'm sorry. We're talking Ziggy.
That was weird. Okay, so he connected to the instrument that Al used. Like, but no, Scott, it was called shit. No, it wasn't called that.
You're doing great things.
MacGyver.
No, Still of the Night.
MacGyver.
I think it was called The Still of the Night. Which had,
No, I think you're correct. I think you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And I think I know the movie you're
in
talking
which
about.
Bruce Willis showed his Pepe.
Yep,
Bruce Willis showed his Pepe and I missed it.
correct.
Well, you can find it on
No.
Amazon, I'm sure.
Why do you need to see Bruce Willis's Pepe?
I don't. I got rocks. Do you need one?
What?
I've got a rock. Get out of here.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm John Johnson. I make
John
movies.
Johnson.
Why
You have a lot of money.
Respond to the.
Oh.
Okay.
All
So the history of the genre was a movie called Silence of the Lambs was going to win Best Picture, and they didn't want to have it be horror, so they made suspense thriller, which if you were in a video store was the smallest little section. It was like this like little sliver. In fact, Sliver was one of their big movies.
I watched that.
Yeah. The last one I remember coming out was Phone Booth.
Wait,
But
is that the one with Halle Berry?
no, it was Colin Farrell where he's trapped in a phone booth the whole time as a sniper. But it kind of borderline
Oh yeah.
like action. But then I saw there was some movie with Keanu Reeves where two girls like came in.
The two girls that come over to his house
Yeah.
and like he invites them in because blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
he dies at the end.
Okay,
Spoiler.
spoilers.
So that lets you guys know he dies at the end.
But that would be one that
I didn't see that one.
would be
You don't
like
want
the genre, but they don't call it that anymore because they don't use the genre code anymore. So I think we'll do a little mini doc about the history of these films, and we can probably interview a few people. Mark Singer is a big one. He did a bunch. Tracy Scoggins.
Wait, Mark Singer, like
Beastmaster.
like the Beastmaster.
Yeah, he did a bunch of them. There's actually
Yeah.
a really good one called well, not really good, but it's called Silk Degrees, with Mark Singer, Mark Hamill, and Gilbert Gottfried, and Shannon Tweed.
Shannon Tweed.
Yeah.
Shannon Tweed.
Yes.
Don't let me meet her.
Okay.
No, okay, wait. No, wait. I already realized the mistake. I once listen, I want everybody to understand something. I once made the mistake telling John, don't let me meet Meg Turney.
Yeah.
And it turned into ultimate panic for this man. And we were on set together, and he was like, we're going to film separately, and you're going to stay away from her. I don't want you anywhere near her. And I'm like, what? And he's like, so, but I do understand. Because at the time when I mentioned something, I didn't realize she had gone through a stalker issue.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that.
Really
when I say don't let me in the room with that person, what I mean is I'm a big fan.
I also didn't know you that, like, we were just getting to know each other at that point in time.
Yeah.
So I didn't know when you
and
said
what I
that.
meant by that was I will see Meg Turney and be like, holy shit, that's fucking Meg Turney. Like, holy shit, like I'm a huge fan. Yeah. And I hope John would back me up on this. When I did meet her, I shook her hand. I said, I'm a huge fan.
You're great.
It's great to be working with you. This is awesome. And then my wife forced John to make her stay in a freezing lake for almost an hour against his will. By the way, I want to make sure that this is known to everybody. My wife stayed in a freezing fucking lake for an hour against John's will. Everything he could do to pull her out of that lake. And it was her comments of, no,
it's not good enough.
Until it's good enough for me, it's not good enough. And he was like, he looked at me twice and I went, I got fucking nothing, bro.
In her defense, it did turn out really good.
She knew that like a tail flip like felt crooked, and she's like, it's not good. It's not good. We gotta redo it. And he's like, no, we can make it work. I'm also gonna reiterate this. Words from John Johnson, as well as words from working with other people, also uttered by myself to people. The last thing you ever want to hear from a director, we can make it work.
We can make it work.
I believe
we'll make it work.
I would say one of those will work.
Yes, one of those will work, or we'll make it work. I've said we can make it. We can make it work.
No, we can't.
I did it on a film that I shot. I've heard John say one of those will work. It's the worst thing you can. It's the worst thing you can hear from any director ever. It means
Zombie Bride topped it. I had to literally go talk to the actors. We were shooting, and he just said, "Oh, it's fucking terrible. I guess I'll like do something with it." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, I had to go like talk to them and be like he was the cameraman, and he just said, "This is fucking terrible."
Who is this?
Zombie Bride. He said this when we were shooting Indiana. And I had to go talk to Crystal because they were like, what? I'm like, no.
Zombie Bride has a very Kubrick style fucking directing style.
Yeah.
A very emotionally damaging emotionally damaging directing style.
I think once
I've talked to multiple people that have worked with him, and they are all emotionally damaged from working with him. And the majority of people that I've spoken with that have shot with him say they won't do it again.
All right, I'm not a part of this conversation.
You don't need to be. Hey, Brian Bostwick,
No, come back to me.
aka Zombie
Come back,
Bride,
no, come back to me.
Stop.
Come back to me.
is an amazing director. Amazing, a brilliant fucking writer, director, so on and so forth, but is extremely hard on his fucking actors. Just letting you know. So if you're willing to take a little bit of emotional damage and punishment, go ahead and work with him. I'm willing to do it.
Also work with
How
Toby,
big of a
who will
man or
come and
woman are
scream
you?
at you in the bathroom when he sees you.
Listen, what I said is I'm willing to do it. I'll work with Zombie Bri any goddamn day. However, I understand there's some people that
I prefer Vampire Jeff.
I prefer TikTok Ghostbuster.
Jordan's a sweetheart.
Even though I refused to wish him happy birthday.
Why is that?
Because fuck you, Jordan.
Okay. Why are we having sex with Jordan?
No, honestly, because I forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it right here now. I forgot it was Jordan's birthday. I got your message the next morning because I had overserved myself, and I do feel bad that I could not be a part of literally something that was simple as hello. Like that's all I was asked to do, and I didn't catch it till the next morning, and I was like,
Chewing on my pants.
God damn it.
Actually,
So I feel bad,
spent a lot
and
of
happy
time-
birthday, Jordan. Belated, of course. But at least you're not Zombie Bri.
What,
You
do
act
30
like
seconds?
Zombie Bri is going to watch this, John. He's not. It's not in his wheelhouse. All right,
Okay.
so
So he's working
What's
on
up,
that
Mikey?
villain aspect. He's getting his point of view down.
I'm just trying to get into character at
Yes,
this point.
That's
Just-
what we're calling it. All right. So what would
Listen.
be one of your favorite films of the genre?
of suspense thriller.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Silence of the Lambs. You cannot beat that movie. I don't. Every character, even the minor characters, which if we're going to be honest with each other, Buffalo Bill was a minor character.
Oh yeah. He was just
Definitely a minor character, but such a huge part of the movie. I'm all about so you and I were talking earlier about the dumbing down. Let's talk about this. We only have a few minutes left anyway. So let's talk about this. We were talking about the dumbing down of movies, right?
Right, but it sounds worse than it is. The way that
Okay,
sounds,
let me explain it to you guys a little bit simpler than the way that John, or about the same way that John explained it to me. So when you talk about dumbing down a movie for your audience, what we're talking about is a constant, if not an elaborate explanation or driving of a backstory or the plot line throughout at least the first third of the movie.
you repeat the plot 3 times.
Yeah, you got to constantly repeat the plot so that, and this is the thing that turned me off when John's explanation. He goes, so if somebody turns away from the movie and does this and comes back to it, they're not lost. Well, first of all, if your movie is fucking interesting, they're not going to move away from your fucking movie, and they're gonna stay there. But I do understand it as somebody with ADHD. There is, and John will tell you, he's suggested multiple movies to me, and I've started watching them. I'm like, I couldn't get through it. I am a huge fan of constant plot or character development, but just not for too long of a period. The biggest problem is when you start talking about series versus a movie. A movie has to move along quite a bit faster. So I can deal with character development and plot development in a movie repeatedly easier than I can in a series. In a series, you can go 3, 4, 5 episodes in a series of developing characters in the plot. Whereas in a movie, you've got an hour and a half, 2 hours to develop that, which means it's going to come a lot faster. I really like kind of repeating things when it comes to movies. I like the constant repetition of the backstory of the main character. I love the repetition of the backstory of where we're currently at and how we got there and so on and so forth in a movie. So if you're talking about, a 90-minute movie, or a 120-minute movie, I'm fine with the first 30 minutes of a movie repeating these aspects of what's happened up to this point or what's led us to this point. As long as, again, this is speaking for somebody from an ADHD standpoint, as long as the movie opens up with something exciting, within the first 10 minutes of the movie, something exciting or something that's like, that's gripping happens within the first 10 minutes. It has to, because if you're going to develop a movie in this manner, you want to, when it, again, like I said, I can purely only speak for myself, which is somebody with severe ADHD. If we're talking about getting somebody into a dramatic movie or a suspense thriller, something that typically is a little bit of a slower buildup, you want to start it off with something a little bit exciting within that first 10 minutes in order to grasp your audience. You need to get something that is like that dramatic kind of like medium build into a quick climax, and then boom. Usually it's in the form of a flashback or something that happened that then leads into what the rest of the movie is about.
Most horror films will start with a kill.
Yep.
And that's there for two reasons. One is to grasp the audience and also to sell the film.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You usually start with a kill or something like that. That's really like Scream did it, right? Like Scream. That's Drew Barrymore. Like the biggest person on the entire headliner.
Yeah.
Killed off. Bam. Just like that. Drew Barrymore answers phone, eating popcorn. Boyfriend dies. I'm running. Stabbed, heart, breast, everything's everywhere. Now she's hanging in a tree. Hey, welcome to the movie. We're Scream. And you're like, God damn.
I think Wes Craven played it really smart, because it goes to slow motion when she gets stabbed, because you think something's going to stop it from happening.
Yeah. No. However, I will say this. In the future, there are hopes of having Psychotic in another movie. And I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, he's going to hopefully be a part of the series for as long as he can put up with Spade.
Which is like another movie full. He's like, I can't deal with you anymore. Yeah, I'm out. I'm going back to hell.
That's good.
I'm done with this. I'm fucking. He's just. I'd rather live there than be in this body for the rest of my life.
Mariah and I are writing the plot line for the Psychotic versus Spade round 2.
This is round 2?
Yeah, it's the one after Origins, where I get the message from the sun to go get you.
So here's the other thing, everybody. If you guys would like to see a Psychotic's origin film, we need to raise about $2,000 to get the script written. So for anybody that doesn't know and wants to look at me like, oh, this guy's always asking for money. This kind of shit takes money. Like you can't get a script written. You can't get locations. You can't get any of that without getting it funded. And we'll talk about that. We'll start talking about Psychotic origins and things like that. Once a star gets to be about 3 years old, and we can start moving forward with other projects.
John will never talk about the idea that we Both laughed about it.
Wait. Yeah, you will.
No.
John?
Yahtzee?
John? John, we're already 5 minutes over. I need to know.
I'm
You've been at me
curious.
for this since, what was it, 2019?
Wait, this
2019?
has been going on for almost 3 years?
Yeah, he's been trying to get me to make this damn movie, and it just...
I have to know.
I have to know.
What
Will
am
it
I
work?
missing?
He wants me to remake Steel Magnolias with zombies.
No.
Exactly.
Wait.
No. Have you seen Steel Magnolias?
I have.
I-
Could you imagine the backing up the car in the parking lot scene with zombies?
So, one other thing that I'm going to kind of throw out, because this is something I'm going to...
He's like, God damn it. Hold on. Wait.
I'm probably going to go live with it later tonight. There is a comic book that's being created that is a prop and a plot device in this film.
Yep.
And I'm going to have you guys help me make it. As in, come up with the characters
Us.
that are in each one. I'm going to figure out, I'm going to make a video and post it, I guess, after
Wait,
this.
for what movie?
Breathless.
Breathless.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. My wife seems to be all privy to this. I don't know what you're talking about.
I told both of you at the same time.
Voxer messages.
So-
It's fine, John. I got 'em.
Wait, what?
We
You
had a
don't
conversation.
remember the Voxer messages where
Yeah.
we were on the way home?
Uh-huh.
I'm like, comic book?
Oh, the comic book.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
What the fuck are we
Yeah.
talking about? Comic? That seems like a lot of work.
Please continue.
Yes.
I'm
Got 'em.
very well aware of this.
Told you I would get
So there's going to be this comic book that is a plot device and prop in the film. And I'm going to have you guys help me create it. So you can help name the characters, come up with the powers, that kind of stuff. Which I think we'll start tonight at some point. Actually, wait. Toby go first. Toby,
What?
tell
What?
me your favorite action film.
My favorite action film?
action.
Yes.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Okay. Who is your favorite villain of all time?
Shit, all my villains are fucking anti-heroes.
Okay, that's fine.
Wait.
Mine is Deadpool.
He's definitely an
He's
anti-hero.
an anti-hero.
Favorite villain of all time. Are we talking movie villain?
Yeah.
Lex Luthor.
Oh, good one.
Okay. Pick a number between 1 and 10. Actually, 1 and 15.
15? 13.
13.
13.
Oh shit. What do we? By the way, John and I've been sending John photos and video clips of me doing my cartoon style overlays. There's a whole process to it. So there's some people that are constantly asking me what app. It's not a singular app. I've spent over $350 on all the different programs I use to do this, and I adjust each one individually in order to get the desired effect. I have an entire scene that I'm going to edit tonight and send to John. I want to say it's almost 5 minutes. No, it's got to be less than that. It's probably around 2.5 minutes. But I'm going to edit it and I'm going to send it to John tonight. And I would love to do a cartoon. I hate saying the word cartoon. I like saying comic. I want to do a comic overlay movie like a Scanner Darkly, which, first of all, I'm going to say this. I did not like A Scanner Darkly. I didn't
What
like
was
it. I loved the cinematography of it. I loved the comic overlay feel of it, but the movie itself, not a fan.
No,
Not a
the
fan.
one he did before it was even worse. It's called Waking Life.
Yeah, I was not a fan of Scanner Darkly. Some of you might say that you really loved it, but I truly believe that the only reason that you loved it is because of the overlay. If they would have removed the overlay and just let them act and do what they did, it's not an interesting. It's a movie about a ton of drug addicts. Great, awesome.
Jester asked a question.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cell shading. Yes, you are correct. You are correct, Jester. Like but that's what Angel and I do with our current videos on TikTok. And I think I feel like Angel and I have proved that you can make it more interesting than just a bunch of druggies talking about stealing bicycles from another person's yard and reselling them.
Yeah.
Like it's not the greatest movie. The cell shading on it is great. The animation on it is amazing, but the rest of the movie is just like meh.
I don't know how we got here, but
Oh, look at this. Look at this, John. Do you see that? Do you see this?
oh yeah, it's happening.
Is it?
Yeah, Wee's actually working on it right now.
Oh, of course. We's working on it.
The first person I've let work on my film in post ever.
Which means it'll probably be done fairly quickly.
Wee doesn't.
Wee doesn't work around.
No, she doesn't.
But no, this is the first time
she's yelled at me in a live.
I have never worked with another editor on my personal films. I never worked with. I've done. I had to do color correction, I guess, and score and visual effects, but I was overseeing everything. This is the first time I'm putting my faith into another person, which is hard for me. But
did you oversee on Spade versus Psy with Bry doing the overlay? He did
right there, and he was up there, and I would check every shot before he.
He did do a great job.
Really
I've got to give Bry some fucking credit. He did an amazing job.
He really did. Especially because I would have these weird ass things. It was like, there's got to be a portal that opens up and then it grabs them with tentacles. I had all these weird ideas. And then he did.
My favorite part, can I just say real quick, my favorite part about Spade versus Psy is literally towards the end. Like, I mean, towards the very, very end. And second favorite part is Spade walking away in his speech. Don't even get me started about that. I'll probably fucking cry if I even mention it. But my favorite part was Micaiah's character's excitement about shit working. But I did it. Did you see it? And they're like, and Royce going, wait a minute. Wait. Are you saying this happened? You didn't even know if it would work? And he's like, well, sometimes it doesn't work. Like, best line in the whole fucking movie. Sometimes it just doesn't work.
Which the next episode is called Spade Origins, in which you will see what he's talking about.
My favorite part was
boop. Oh, yeah.
The only bully here is you.
You.
Boop, boop.
Yeah. And he's gone.
So somebody today, John, I thought I'd let you know this will make you happy because I gave somebody hell for this today. Somebody that I've known for a while was like, hey, I thought that you had a Spade. I thought you had a movie coming out with Psy in it. I haven't heard anything about that. Is that still going on? Or I was like, yeah, that came out like a year ago. And he's like, oh, I hadn't heard anything about it. I said, hey, you can't hear anything about something if you're not willing to listen for it.
You know what I'm talking about, like the solo film, the origin film?
He was straight talking about Spade versus Psy. Did not know that it had been released.
Jerry Lee Lewis movie. Yahtzee.
Yahtzee. Let's not be insulting tonight.
Oh, I guess. I guess that covers everything.
John, are you okay?
Hmm?
Are you okay?
So Parkinson's, but
Well,
Don't stop. You're not allowed to use that as an excuse anymore.
No,
now you gotta say,
that's
"Well,
like-
I'm still a dad to an infant." Like that. That's
Okay.
your new one. That's your new one.
actually, believe it or not, when I get near her, it calms me down.
You don't have to tell any of us, brother. We watch you every morning,
we see it.
and we see the calmness that is over you
It just
every time.
it embraces you.
It's new for
Now-
me though. I'm shocked for the whole thing. Matthew came here and just like, so Matthew and I ended our conversation a long time ago. Matthew came to me and he's like, "There's no happy endings, John. There's no happy endings."
That was
And
the
we
day that you said, "Oh shit,
Yeah, we broke Matthew.
we broke Matthew."
But today, as he was leaving it, he said, "There's no happy endings, but sometimes it's okay."
It's true.
I'm terrible at ending. I don't know how to
and-
do it.
And he really liked the photos I sent him.
He did.
So thank you for sending those to me, because I really enjoyed editing those and sending them to Matthew. And he was like, "Thank you so much for thinking about me." God damn, it's Matthew. So you can't do something nice to Matthew without Matthew doing something nicer to you. And I'm like, "Bro, I'm always thinking about you." He's like, no, you don't understand. And I'm like, "God."
It's like Micaiah and his Rice Krispie treats.
You're like,
He doesn't.
he's like, "I just brought Rice
understand.
Krispie treats," and she's just like, "No, you don't understand how hungry I was."
It's and they're not even homemade.
She will.
It's wrapped in the Rice Krispie treat package.
All right, before we
But they're the
end,
best.
this,
Sorry.
can you please do me a favor?
What?
Okay, because this is an awesome thing. All right,
Okay.
and as we all know, this is Manos. This is a Manos shooting day,
Uh-huh.
right? Like the day that we got that perfect, like the hand was
In the vape.
we were in the barn, and like Angel did the vape, and like
All right.
everything was, it was just that whole day was just perfect. Like it literally, the whole day was perfect. But the thing that Angel remembers over everything, tell him.
Micaiah brought me Rice Krispie treats.
You ever heard Bing Rames talk about Mission Impossible?
No.
Maine lobster.
What?
Apparently,
Lobster?
Tom Cruise shipped out Maine lobster because he said he liked it, and that's what he remembers about Mission Impossible 1.
I'm not. I mean, here's the thing. Like every
Okay. I'm a simpleton.
No,
Rice Krispie treats are fine.
I have a memory of every shoot I've done with Darkstone.
Mm-hmm.
Name a shoot. Name a shoot. I'll give you my memory.
right before Christmas.
Right before Christmas,
Mhm.
spraining the nerve in my neck when you hit me with what seemingly was an extremely light bag of fluff.
Yes.
The second thing that I remember from that was the horrible fucking concoction that was made by Royce that was both chunky and creamy and also expired.
I was unaware of this part of it. He said, "I gotta make it."
No, do you not know where he got the can of chili?
He told me after.
Underneath, he found it underneath the seat of his car, the passenger seat. And when I said, "Well, is it expired?" He's like, "I have no idea how long it's been under there." And he's just pouring it in there and stirring it. I'm like, "So what? Now what?" He goes, "Now you put it in your mouth." I was like, and I did. And I think half of the vomiting scenes were fairly realistic.
Well, you two definitely bonded by the end of the weekend.
That was a great weekend.
Royce and I bonded over bullets.
No, listen. Now, if you really want to talk about a bonding moment of Fright Before Christmas filming,
Okay.
the drone.
Oh God.
see that and the drunk Royce and Toby tirade about how to film. What was it? We were just talking about filming a TikTok, like how to do.
I have no idea. You woke me up in the middle of the night, both raving. I just filmed you guys. I was like, wait, I gotta get this on tape. I don't know what you're saying.
I can still watch it and understand everything we were saying. We were talking about attaching a blade to a weed eater and like throwing it down toward John, and there was going to be like gift wrapping and ribbon and all the shit coming out after the drone had gone at John.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
No. We didn't mean like we were going to drop the weed eater on John. We were just going to run it and throw that shit into it so it could be thrown out.
You also want to use the audio from that recording, if I remember correctly?
We did. So give me another one.
Lucas.
Give me another one, and I'll give everybody my best memory from it. Manos. So there's several from Manos.
Lots from Manos.
So the first one for Manos was the multitude of times I had to be tackled by Asbel as the sheriff walking up to the side of a car with two topless women just being drilled like over and over. I think it was 4 times 4 times in the ribs, and each time we got done, and I didn't know what John had told him, but I told him, I said, you need to hit me harder. And then we'd reshoot, and I didn't know if it was because John had overheard me or because John felt the same way. But the final time he tackled me, I could have swore to God it was Junior Seau. I thought I felt 3 ribs crack, and I just disappeared off the screen. The other part of Manos was the fact that I wheeled myself up and down an avenue during film. So, first of all, we must have had about 8 or 9 casualties. That's right before Christmas. That's right before Christmas. That's not fair.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
That's right before Christmas. That's not fair.
But we did that during fucking.
No,
that
that
was
was
the thing
right
that tried
before
to kill me on multiple occasions.
So, first of all, during Manos, I brought my wheelchair to set, and I was like, hey, during the drone shot, I was like, I'll wheel myself through, and because every movie, let's be honest, every movie has to have like one handicapped person. Every horror movie needs it. Okay, you're right. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What?
I wanted that guy to die so bad.
Yeah, okay. So everybody wanted him to die. He was an asshole. Just to let you guys know, if you're in a wheelchair, it doesn't mean you're not susceptible to being a prick. So we were filming Manos, and I brought the wheelchair, and I was like, I'm just gonna wheel through this crowd. And John's like, that's awesome. And it's a downhill slope. So I'd start, and he'd like, you got 4 people walking towards 2 people, and everybody else is running. Now, mind you, while I'm wheeling, there are people that apparently just can't walk. One of them is Wee Dot. I believe the other one was Robin. And these people were literally destroying themselves on curbs, on asphalt, on sidewalks, on like whatever apparently their shadow could make them trip over. And within 4 shots, I think we had 9 casualties that we like Royce and I were like doing triage over, and we're like off to the side, and we're like literally like we're throwing bandages on people, and we're throwing ice packs and things like that. And John's like, we need to do another shoot, and we're like, all right. So we go each one of these shoots, I'm in a wheelchair and I'm just hauling ass to the bottom of the street, and like gripping the metal parts of this wheelchair so I don't go into traffic, stopping, turning around, and realizing everybody's already walking back. I'm by myself. I'm like, all right. And I'd start wheeling myself back and going, what am I doing? I'm like not actually injured. I'd stand up and walk the wheelchair back. So that's one. The other one, obviously, was meeting Meg Turney and doing the Dutch content for the first time, the Mafia content.
Yep.
Where Meg is yelling at you from the balcony, and you're like, ah. And then of course the other part is filming outside on the dock with Angel doing the mermaid and Meg sitting outside.
I remember like we went to somewhere for your birthday.
Weed Out's like, I was fine.
And the torture that those people put you through.
The torture. Who?
A Mexican restaurant we went to.
Those motherfuckers.
You like mash shit in your face.
They did the fucking birthday thing. I like zoned out. Like I was out of it for a moment.
It had me wondering if we were going to all die. I was just shocked. They just came over and just like threw that shit in your face.
Who was it that set that up?
As well.
Aramis.
About eggs.
So what John is talking about, so we went to a Mexican restaurant to go, we all went to go eat. I believe it was after we are all done shooting for the day, right?
Yeah.
But we all went to go sit down and we went to a Mexican restaurant, and Asbel went and told this guy, no, you were there, I think. Oh no, you weren't.
No, I wasn't.
If she was there, it would have been way worse. Asbel told these people that it was my birthday. Now, apparently, the surprise for the birthday guest at this place was they showed them, like, I don't know if it was like a loaded plate of nachos. I don't remember what was that they stuck out in front of me, and then this guy shoved it in my face and like rubbed it everywhere. And it was every ounce of my being not to murder everyone in the restaurant. But I did stand up. I laughed, I stood up, and I walked out, and I don't remember. I honestly don't remember who followed me out to come talk to me. It was Asbel, wasn't he? And I was guilty. And I just was like, I'm not okay. Like,
and then it was right after I bought you a cake for you got like 100,000 followers or something like that.
Who?
You did.
From that
day, no, you got 100,000 followers. Like you just hit that mark, and I bought you a cake.
Oh yeah, because I did the video on your front porch with whoever, and she was like, "So what's it feel to hit 100,000 followers?" And it was the big head. And I was like, "I don't feel any different, really." That was back when hitting 100,000 on
it was a big deal.
That back then it was.
Hello. It's a motherfucking pleasure.
Back then when we were filming the little Manos teaser, hitting 100,000 on TikTok was like, that really was kind of like that was like a big moment. Nowadays, and not take away from anybody that's reached these goals.
There's a lot more people in the app now.
Yeah, but hitting 1 million now is the equivalent of hitting 100,000.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow, man, you got 1 million. You're like, yeah, fucking so do a lot of people. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize how many others have that status. Where in 2018, early 2019, if you had 1 million, that was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
That was pre Charlie D'Amelio. That was pre, hey, I got 9 million likes for eating a piece of cake to a popular audio kind of days. Like, you really had to work for your status back in those days.
Yeah.
And I felt good about it. Like when I had 200,000, I was like, this is awesome. And then within 3 months, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. like
Tigger's
it was,
worried.
hi,
Hey, let him love
fine.
you.
So let's name another movie. So we got Manos. We got, what was the other movie that we talked about already? We talked about
the Frights.
We talked about the Frights, right?
No, I was for Christmas. The Frights.
Son of a bitch. It's not.
You want to talk
not out
about
yet.
Shark, you son of a bitch?
Yeah. Or I'm a mermaid.
All right. Wait a minute. Let's do this. So John kind of compounded upon his memories on Manos. What about the Frights with you?
Yeah.
What I remember? Donnie Sturgis. And the ghost. Motherfucker.
Remember, a lot of people won't know who it is that you're speaking of, which or what you're speaking of. So
there was an actor who I'd worked with a long time, and I can't fucking talk about this.
Do we need to move on? Do we need to move on?
Basically, we lost the lead actor the day of because everybody slept with his girlfriend in a previous life. I don't know. It's just
let's move on,
Let's
John.
move on.
Let's move on. It's all right. So let's talk about Spade versus Side. What is your most memorable moment/moments from Spade versus Side?
Watching you guys do the tunnel scene.
Jesus fucking!
God.
I don't want to talk about the fucking tunnel. I don't want to talk about the tunnel. I know Caleb doesn't want to talk about the goddamn tunnel.
No.
I know. I know.
My shit, you look as ugly as a frog. Have you got my shit? You have no subject when you talk. Have you got my shit? I'm so clever, got it locked.
We have to do more.
We have
God damn
to.
it! I have to do more.
we did that. We did this. That I just did it like randomly, and it just spawned like this whole thing. I was like, oh, what if we actually have those two fight?
That's what started
Yeah.
it, wasn't it?
That
That
is.
was the first thing.
That's what started it.
So here's the thing. So
The chess scene.
Rum
was
Runner,
amazing.
and Club do not ever again want anything to do with that tunnel. Neither one of them. Do you remember seeing them? Not you and I. Now I know you and I talked about that tunnel scene. So for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, if you have not seen Spade versus Psychotic, this was all done in like a very popular haunted house.
Yep.
What was the name of it, John?
It's Luray. They changed the name recently. It used to
Yeah.
be like
It was like the number 2 or 3 haunted house on like the East Coast.
yeah. I think they kind of they changed their name like whatever the theme of the park is, like whatever they're going after that year.
Well, we went through, and everything when we went through, it was like everything was jet black.
Yeah.
But then they had things that were not neon, but kind of like when you break chem light, right? Like they're reactive to light. And we went through, and everything was lit up by black light, and this tunnel just spun. And it was this effect that the moment you just turned into it, that was it. You immediately, I don't care who you are, you immediately became off balance. It didn't matter if you were seeing it in person or apparently through a camera lens.
Yeah,
So
he went in.
Rum Runner spun around, and he's looking in this thing. And John and I had already done about 2 takes by this point, and decided that the best way to do it was for Spade, John's character, was to hold on to the railings and just run forward while holding onto the railings.
Right.
That way, there wouldn't be any tipping or tilting, because I already was standing in there and slowly.
Yeah, it made you kind of like
like you kind of went with the tunnel. So Rum had we had to, first of all, we had to walk Caleb all the way through it, like have him hold our hand, walk him all the way through it and down, and like have him walk out. And Rum ended up running the entire camera system. And we turned and we're filming. This is like the third time that Rum had done it, and God bless his soul, because every time he had a rougher and rougher time. And we're filming it, and he started dead center, and he's holding on to these two toggles, and he's got a shoulder portion for this camera rig, and he's filming us. And as we're talking, right before John comes, he's kind of succumbing to the tilt of the tunnel, and he's slowly tilting the camera like this as John's coming forward. But as much as we felt that it might have messed up everything,
It worked.
it made it perfect. It made it perfect.
It worked.
One of the best scenes in the whole movie was the tunnel scene.
Yep.
But I swear to God, if we ever go back there again and John puts me in that tunnel, I'm just gonna punch his baby in the dick.
No.
I shouldn't have a dick, so you just punch random people.
Or where that empty space is. I don't give a shit. It's gonna happen. Don't put me in the tunnel, is what I'm saying. You can tell Mariah I said it. I don't care. Don't care.
Okay, so what I'm gonna say is
it was a great shot. It was amazing. I would not be able to do it again though. I couldn't.
No.
Like there's no
there
way.
are two things that I would bring up about Psychotic versus Spade. Number one, how giving and non-egotistical this guy is for a decision that was made on set that changed the whole dynamic. And it's not something that an actor who was really like, so it was your idea for Cy to run from Dark Spade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As he should have.
Well, I mean, people who are really attached to those kind of characters would be like, oh, my character can't do this, he can't do that, you know, that kind of thing. Like, yes,
you're talking
no
about
really them.
like people would be looking. You're saying like people would look at Cy like nobody can beat him.
No, if Cy was like, if you were like, some people get so attached to their character, like you can't be defeated, kind of thing. Like the way they have like Jason. The reason why they do Jason versus Ash is because they don't want Ash to win.
Right.
So like well, Jason would have to win, but you chose for him to run, which opened up a whole like. It was a really like big moment for me because I saw you make decisions for the film versus yourself. Not that you wouldn't have done that anyway, but we don't see that too often.
Well, it's the same thing with the you know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I got that I think I've only talked about it to a couple of people, but I felt the exact same way during the chess match. Where I felt that I honestly felt that you put the chess match in front of the character, because Spade and Dark Spade really are like the center force of you know, the whole Spade universe, but a lot of Darkstone and a lot of the following that we have kind of picked up, you know, since, you know, you and I have met since 2018, and the whole fucking universe has been discovered since then. And the fact that you were like, no, because I wasn't expecting it when you're like, hey, we're gonna sit down and have a chess match. I was like, okay. And you said Dark Spade's gonna lose, and that's how Dark Spade has to, like, Dark Spade didn't lose in like lose. Dark Spade lost the chess match, and it was really kind of like a bet. Like I bet you, you know, if this happens, I'll do this, and if this happens, you know, you have to do this.
Right.
I have a
So
thing
it wasn't like a loss, like he was saying that he was weaker, but it was a loss in like a way of like, I have to, because I'm an honorable person enough, I'm going to honor this bet.
Yep.
Well,
Like,
I think
I'm
it's-
not
we
saying you
established that
won,
didn't
but
have a code.
Yeah.
Demons have a code.
Right.
Yep.
And I think that's something that was really cool to have both Spade and Psy, or Dark Spade and Psy, kind of come together and show, is exactly what you just said. Demons have a code. As it was explained at the very beginning of the film,
Yep.
Psy has his own code.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm now facing another demon, right? Like there's Spade and Psy, Dark Spade and Psy, they know each other, like they recognize each other.
Mm.
But the fact that there's this code between these two that is respected, especially when Dark Spade wipes all the fucking the players off the fucking chessboard, and Psy stands up and says, are you breaking our pact?
Mhm.
We know that Dark Spade could most likely just wipe fucking Psy off the planet. But the fact that he kind of reserved himself and understood that, hey, there is this code, and no, I'm going to adhere to it, even though I don't want to. Like, I don't want to, but I know that there's this, yeah, like a bro code. I don't want to, but we made this agreement.
Yep.
It was that you're lucky this fucking time kind of mentality. Like, you're lucky that this exists. All right. And then, of course, he kind of gets laid / almost blowjob from women. Like, you can't ignore that either. That's not going to happen in this upcoming movie, by the way.
Based on it?
There's no John Johnson sex scene in Breathless. So if you guys want to go ahead and throw down to www.thebreathlessmovie.com and check out the perks that are available on there, we'd love to have you. There's no John Johnson sex scene in this movie.
I haven't written one.
There's not a John Johnson sex scene in this movie.
So what you're saying is,
I promise, there's no John Johnson sex scene in this movie.
John Johnson, you can't have a sex scene.
you two are going to have a sex scene.
And that's fine.
This is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie to you. So seriously, like on a serious note, like I'm fucking around with all the other stuff, obviously. But on a serious note, John, have you seen, I don't even know why the fuck I ask if John's ever seen him. Vanilla Sky.
Yes.
The moment where he like,
mask.
where he snaps and he's in bed.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's having sex with at the time was Penelope Cruz, and he just snaps, and all of a sudden he sees Cameron Diaz, and he's just like fuck, and he tries to clear his head, and he can't, and it keeps going back between Penelope Cruz and Cameron Diaz, and finally he's just like to get rid of it. I think we need to do something similar. If you haven't written it in, maybe sit down and discuss about how it would be possible to kind of give an homage to that, because I love that scene. I love that cracking of the psyche scene in that movie.
Where the
For
villain.
me, I'm basing it off of Rules of Attraction.
I haven't seen it.
You see American Psycho?
Yeah, of course.
It's a prequel.
What?
It's the one before where what was it? Patrick Bateman. He's Jason Bateman and he becomes Patrick Bateman.
We love that movie.
But he loses his mind during a sex scene, but you see it in his face. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't like yet, but like things change after he like kind of. It's actually who played them? It was guy from Dawson's Creek.
Okay.
But it's a brilliant film.
Send me the name of that movie again later.
Yeah, it's shot really well. It's but there's a moment where he
want to see it?
Snaps.
Sit down and watch it.
I do.
He snaps and then gets a phone call from Patrick Bateman.
Good night.
From American Psycho, Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, but you realize it's him. But after he snaps, he gets a call from his uncle, and he's different at that point.
Wow.
It's also Evil Dead 2. The moment is when he starts laughing with all the things in the house.
Yes,
That
where
point
he
in
just kind of
time-
looks around. And he starts kind of going crazy, and he's looking at the deer head and all the other shit throughout the house.
Yeah,
the
at that
cabin.
point in time, the camera angles are always looking up at him. And I
Yeah.
don't know anymore.
Yep.
Sounds like a good one. Oh,
Hold on. Have you heard of this one? Midnight Meat Train.
wait, I have heard of it recently though. It's like somebody's like, is it Jamie Lee Curtis?
Jamie Lee Curtis,
I believe she's in it.
my girl.
I have some of your
Yeah, because you have like a lot of different levels of snapping.
in my cup.
The biggest one is when you decide,
That's good.
without a doubt, you're the villain of this story.
I'm the villain.
You'll decide that at one point.
You are
I'm never the villain.
No, you're gonna. Your exact line is, "I'm the villain of this story."
I'm not.
You're not supposed to think
I'm
that.
the-
You
I'm
say
the
that because you're
anti-hero.
justifying what you're doing.
I'm the anti-hero.
I think Han Solo would like kill Princess Leia like 1,000 times.
The Han Solo is definitely the anti-hero.
He's definitely an anti-hero, but I don't think you're an anti-hero. I think you're the villain.
The anti-hero, by all definition, is the person that does bad things for the reason of good.
Right? You start off that.
that would be me.
No,
Mhm.
what? No, you're a cunt for the reason of being a cunt.
But I'm doing bad things to make you better.
No.
To you.
What? Oh my God. Do you see the abusive relationship like forming as we speak?
Think about it.
Selfish.
Well, there's a point, Toby, where you're not doing it for the right reason anymore. You're doing it because you're enjoying it.
No, I'm always doing it
Yeah.
because it's the right reason.
Oh.
No, that's not true either. But I'm just not trying to destroy the movie for anybody.
Also, going to tap into a scene that I wanted to shoot forever. There's a movie called The Raven. With
Wait,
Boris-
what was the movie? The pre.
Rules of Attraction.
Okay, thank you. Okay, continue.
There is a scene in a movie called The Raven with Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. And normally, Bela Lugosi is a bad guy. Boris Karloff is a good guy. They reverse the roles and they sit down at a chessboard and they say, "I'm going to kill the people in this house, as you can beat me in this chess game." Now, it isn't so much about the game, but the conversation that the two have will be the moment when you have the line,
No.
"I'm the villain in your story." In my story. You're telling me you're the villain in my story
Okay.
because you're pissed at me because I broke your. I become a weakness for you because, like, essentially, all right. So I designed this thing where you know Sherlock Holmes where he sees like science all around him. Like, he
Yeah,
sees
where
the
he's got the,
equations.
like the equations
Yeah.
and everything like that, right?
You're gonna be doing something similar, and then Kelton speaks, and then it starts to break, and it gets all this. It gets all fucked up. You can't think straight, so you have to remove me.
Okay.
So I've been
So-
fucking with you this whole movie.
Quick question for you. How much, like, I've always been interested in this answer in general to begin with,
Mhm.
but how much? So at this point in time, I'm talking to John Johnson, not my friend, not the director, not Darkstone, not nothing. I'm talking about in general. How much of this movie have you already pictured from start to finish that you envision it to be from start to finish? Like start to finish. How much have you envisioned?
I'd say like 90%.
And Now, my question after that, because we all have expectations, right? Like we see things like it's like a dream, right? Like you have a dream, you're like, fuck. Like I saw this whole thing. Like this is everything. This is what I want. Can, in your opinion, and I want your honest opinion, can myself and Angel do what you've envisioned?
And then performance?
Yep.
Oh, for God's sakes, yes.
Do you feel that we honestly can perform at the level in what you've envisioned to make this app?
You have to be honest.
Absolutely. I used you guys as inspiration to write the fucking thing. Like, she got me with the moment where I wanted to save her, and you had a couple moments that I'll talk to you about later that proved to me that you were more than just a pretty face.
Well, that's thank you. I've never been a pretty face, not even to my wife.
No, but like,
Sorry.
Stop it.
I mean, it's my gift. I don't know if I make good movies, but I know how to get good people.
No, you do.
But I
You
can
do.
see people and I
And
can be like,
let me explain. No, you're beating yourself up right now. And let me explain why you make good movies, John. Because you find good people. You find fitting people for the parts for your movie, because anybody can make a movie, right? Like I'm not. Let's speak from experience. Anybody can make a movie, regardless of the actors or actresses fit the parts or can perform the parts or whatever. Making a movie just requires not even a script. It requires an idea and people. I proved that with The Witnesses, Phone Calls, and Murder. I did. Like there was no script. There was no real there was minor guidance. There was a minor script between myself. All you need is people, idea, camera equipment. That's all that is, and a minor required. I have not been as much as I talk shit about Darkstone Entertainment Productions, and it's always in jest. And the reason why you hear me say the things I do, for everybody that's listening, all 15 of you, because nobody else gives a shit. It's because I'm talking to my brother. It's because I'm talking to a family member, and as we all know, this is how I, Toby, talk to my family members. I talk to my blood brother this way. I talk to my blood sister this way. I talk to John this way because he's technically more of a blood brother to me than my own blood brother. This is how I treat family. Everything that I've been a part of in Darkstone since I began, since I literally sat in a library directly over the left shoulder of John Johnson, repeating, screaming everything that he said immediately after he said it, for my first on-set. I'm not including the judge. I'm going off of the frights.
Yeah.
We're sitting in a library, is dead quiet, and you just got, like, honestly, like, this guy is coming in. He's holding his stomach, and he's got two people holding him. It's a serious, dramatic scene. He's like, and he sits down, and like somebody's dramatic saying. He's like, and they both walk off, and he goes, cut. I go, cut. And he just looks back at me. He's like, Jesus fucking Christ. All right. And everything that he said after that, he's like, back to ones. I'm like, back to ones. And I'm literally sitting on a stool, being the dumbass that is Toby, trying to bring a little bit of humor and light, not understanding how filming works, how any of this shit works. Like, I don't know. I'm a foreigner to all this, and I'm just being a dipshit. And the fact that this guy looked back at me and kind of giggled every time he got the
And he got an ass caught out of it.
every fucking time he'd be like he'd look back and we'd both get the giggles and we were having such a great time. It was that moment that I told myself, I don't care what happens from this point on. I don't give a shit if I have to pay my way through everything. I don't give a shit if this guy makes billions of dollars. I don't care what fucking happens. I want to be a part of this. And this changed my life. Like 2019, my life changed on the set of a movie that technically never came to be. It was called The Frights at the time, and god damn it, I spent a month, almost a month and a half studying this script, and it never came to be because of other people. But
those who shall not be
but
named.
then it moved forward from there.
Yeah.
And the Frights became the Manos, and the Manos became
Frights Before Christmas.
Frights Before Christmas, and Frights Before Christmas became Spade versus Psy, and Spade versus Psy became ELE, and so on and so forth. And it's just been this downward tumble of just this amazing
Greatness.
experience and rediscovery of what family can be. And it's just, if it's gone for me, it's a part of me that I lose for myself forever. It's like losing an animal. It's like losing a child. It's like it would be literally this giant chunk that just left.
Just gone.
It's that I hate it, but I hate to love it fucking thing. Everybody knows I hate my pets. No, I do. I love them, but I hate to love them. I hate that my pigs give me shit. I hate that my goats are a pain in the ass. I hate that I have to feed the ducks because they're needy. Like, it's that I hate it, but I love it. It's just like my kids. I hate. No, there's still two of them. We still have Dusty Buns. I hate that my son learned to drive based on my experiences. I hate that, that there's this distance and so on and so forth, but everything we do together is still amazing with me and non-Dusty Buns, who was Silver Sparkly today.
No, he was. He looked like a nickel.
Because he looked like a nickel. He does powder coating.
Now the tub
But there's
looks like
all
a
these
nickel.
different things that I experienced in my life, and Darkstone will forever. And I wish I could grab this camera and show you guys how much Darkstone means to me, because directly over my TV in my living room is this metal placard. It's not giant. It's it's maybe
Big enough to see.
7 to 8 inches wide by about 4 inches tall. And it's just a metal placard that says hashtag I am Darkstone. And I know people that want things out of that statement. I don't want anything. I have met some amazing people. I'm going to name some of them right now. And one of them is John Johnson. You are my fucking brother forever. Jared Kearney. I don't even know if I'm fucking pronouncing Jared's name right. I don't know if it's Kearney. The fucking I don't give a shit. But that's why I call him. Matthew E. Walden, who I never thought I'd fucking meet, and I've been in 2 movies with him. Micaiah. Humbert? Is it Humbert? Humbertus. Micaiah's fucking amazing. Mariah. And multiple other people that are not multiple other people that I've met that are just brief occurrences, but every single person I've met have always been welcoming, and there's always this overall feeling that this family is something worth being a part of.
I belong here.
And I highly recommend for anybody that doesn't know about John or Darkstone, please go to your Amazon Prime, type in Darkstone ENT, and watch everything you have the ability to see.
Yep.
You'll see what this fucking amazing man is capable of. There is a short on there.
Yeah.
No. There's a short on
no,
there
no.
that made me.
He's talking about
No, I know he's probably got baby stuff. There's a short on Amazon Prime that really made me go, this is something I really want to be a part of. If you guys would like me to show you, please say so in the comments, and I'll just bring it up. I'll bring it up. John's not on screen. Let's show some Darkstone stuff.
Okay.
It's not Give Up the Ghost. What's up? What's up, floppy shoes? What's up, floppy feet?
He has to go.
Yeah, go.
Not yet. First off, no, I'm about to later about that one.
Okay. Am I in trouble? That's the first question.
Not in trouble, but
I'm in trouble.
Yep.
Okay. So, second part.
second part was my story of how all this came to be is I came to TikTok to retire. I came to let go of everything.
That's true.
Because I figured I'd make little shorts and it'd be easy enough to do, even with a wiggly guy.
Yep.
And then, TikTok is TikTok. People had problems, and my heart went out to a lot of people. I had a really rough night, and you did a video of the bunny that woke me up.
Fucking Marty.
And that, like, neither one of us put that song on Mariah's birth playlist. Amanda did because she watched a documentary about Tim Capello and just put that song on the playlist. And when my daughter was born, that fucking song started playing in the hospital.
I guess he's got a new album getting ready to hit.
Yes. I love that, John.
Yeah. But it was that, and then the 30-man walk of all the spades to get me to come back a spade.
Yep.
So
You good?
No.
yeah.
What? You good? You good?
There are definitely days when I'm dealing with actors and stuff like that. It's like, this is fucking Toby's fault. I shouldn't be here. I should be wiggling in bed.
Don't go live with Toby.
All right.
But thank you.
Oh, John, I'm a little upset. I'm gonna mention something to you right now.
Hmm?
And I already understand I'm in trouble, so I'm just gonna mention this. Capture and Kill is no longer available to watch in my location.
All shorts have been removed from Amazon. They're getting re-released in a Captain Quarantine show.
Motherfucker. So I am so sorry. I can't show you guys what I wanted to show you, which is Darkstone Entertainment, Capture and Kill. It is one of the shorts that I watched that I was like, I absolutely have to be a part of this. That's one of the ones.
Yep.
So, we can go ahead and end this. We'll cut this. We'll cut this now. And John, I'm sorry if I got you in any kind of trouble.
No.
Certainly did not mean to. I'm sorry if I got myself in trouble, which is usually the case. So, Did Zombie Bry respond? All right. So I love you guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for the 13 people that are still here. We appreciate it. John and I definitely do. We love you guys. We love every single one of our fans, followers, wherever you follow us at. It doesn't matter if it's Twitch, doesn't matter if it's YouTube, doesn't matter if it's TikTok. I would say it doesn't matter if it's High Notes, but John doesn't give a shit about that. But wherever you guys want to follow us.
I did a Halloween special on High Notes.
Thank God John was on there 5 months ago. All right, so but we absolutely love every single one of you guys, and thank you so much for being here. We love you guys, and hope someday you guys come back, and we'll do our best to entertain you. John, do you have anything to add?
No.
Error 404 is now over. Time ill spent that you will never get back.